All right, guys, if you are ready, I'm just going to do the countdown, play the intro music, and start the show.
Let's do it.
All right. The Angry Chicken, Episode 1 for Monday, October 14th, is recording live in 3, 2, 1.
Well met. A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
It's time for a little blood.
This is the Angry Chicken.
I hope you like my invention.
I'm gonna eat that.
Reporting for duty.
Hello and welcome to Episode 1 of The Angry Chicken. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and joining me, as they will be for weeks to come, hopefully, is Willie Dills Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Guys, welcome. I think we're all a little excited for the show. We've been planning it fiercely for the past week.
Fiercely is the right word. Yeah, I've been angrily typing, and you know, as a chicken would do, away at this these show notes all day. I'm super excited to talk about everything we've got here.
Yeah,
this is gonna be great.
Indeed, I think we've all been just like, we've been in docs, we've been in Skype, we've been talking to each other. We pulled Jocelyn away from Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh my God!
To bring you the angriest. I'm assuming you made a turkey very happy somewhere to come on. I don't know. Do you have turkeys on Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yes, Canadian Thanksgiving does involve turkeys. It was also my Christmas, so it was Christmas and Thanksgiving all in one day. It was fantastic.
You guys have it all wrong. You're supposed to wait till November and December for this stuff. But
no,
all right.
I don't think so.
You see, I was angry because I went to Target. Was so excited to see
That
how
makes you angry. Yes.
No, I like Target. You know, it's like a sane Walmart that with people who actually know how to dress themselves like an adult. But so I was already mad because I went in. I'm like, oh yay, Halloween stuff, and then right next to it is Christmas stuff already. I'm like, this is too soon. But now I'm hearing that you, Jocelyn, have already celebrated Christmas. You need to calm down, Jocelyn. Too much.
I just can't help it. Joel's family actually goes down to Florida for Christmas, so we do Christmas with them on Thanksgiving because they're gone for December. So
Florida is
it's only our Christmas, not everyone's Christmas.
Got it.
Florida is such a wonderful place for Christmas if you like humidity and rain. It's just lovely.
I can't wrap my head around decorating a palm tree. That is just morally wrong.
America's #1 state, Florida. I just said it on my stream the other night while you were in there.
I heard you, Dills.
I stand by that.
I remember angrily shaking my fist at the camera that you cannot see, but now you can see it. So,
Look, I didn't say that tongue in cheek. I'm serious. Florida, America's #1 state.
I don't even believe it. So I'm taking it as an insult. So there's that. Anyways, hey, if this is your first time tuning into the Angry Chicken, obviously it's if you're hearing this, it has to be for your first time, at least if it's current.
Unless you're some sort of time traveler, and then please tell us, how does the show go? Do we get popular, or
what do we turn into, a couple a-holes? To quote Back to the Future. But yes, if this is your first time tuning in, or more importantly, if this is your first time hearing our voices and wondering who we are, let me introduce everyone. Dills, you are probably most famous, at least in this circle, for being the co-host of The Instance, the World of Warcraft podcast.
Yes, I co-host The Instance with Scott Johnson and Terpster, otherwise known as The T. And me and him are the two-headed monster that took over for Randy Jordan when he departed to go work at Blizzard. So really, really happy to be on that show. I actually was just a fan of it for a really long time. And somehow through some weird tangled webs, I found my way to becoming Scott's friend. And now I am a co-host on the very show that brought me to the guild that I'm in now. So it's kind of a weird story, but now I'm happy to be a co-host on The Angry Chicken as well.
Yeah, it's great. You and I had a very short stint on the Old Republic instance as
yes. That show was really fun and exciting, and then the game
It was-
just completely fell on its face, and that was unfortunate because we were having a good time. I'm a Star Wars nut, so
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect. Let's mix MMOs with Star Wars. It looks awesome. Everything seems to be in place, and then for whatever reason, they just dropped the ball on a lot of things. So that show also went the way of Tor, and
I died. I died a little inside when you didn't open today's episode with the Star Wars quote.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of that show. Was I got to go through and just like relive all my favorite moments in Star Wars by saying them on the show. So I'll find something to do on this show. Maybe I can open with like a card emote or something like that each show.
Yeah, you could be a different minion every week. It'll be
There
perfect.
you go. Yeah, you gotta be kidding me.
There it is. There it is. And Jocelyn, you are the host of the Gamers In podcast, which actually records live every Friday night right here on this here live stream, twitch.tv/AMoveTV.
That it does. And it's just me and my co-host Ryan. We're actually coming up on our 100th episode. So it's been going for about 2 years now. Really exciting times at the inn.
That is such a great milestone.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I remember when we hit that milestone on my show, Starcast. So that was fun. It's weird because we're now closing in on 200.
Yeah, which is just insane. And Dills, you're what, 300 and something on the instance now?
Like 350 or so, something
Yeah.
like that. But I've only been a part of it for about the last 150, I think. I came in just after 200 was done because I remember I actually did some production work for episode 200, which they made a huge deal about Instance 200. Then we got to Instance 300, and Scott was like, "Should we do anything?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, dude." It's like, "Yes, we're gonna do something."
Hey, I busted my butt for your 200th, which I wasn't
Yeah.
on. I'm gonna at least bust my butt for the 300th, which I'm a part of.
Which I'm actually on the show now. Yeah. So we're at, I think, like 350 something, but yeah, I've only been there since about 215 or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's been around since the game's been out, so it's a long time. Although then you got Mr. Coverville, Brian Ibbett over there, who's about to
up on
reach
1,000.
1,000. Yeah.
Oh, gee, yeah, but let's be honest. I think he was podcasting before anyone actually listens to podcasts. I think he was just
Yeah.
talking into like those plastic
Into a
microphones
computer.
that you had when you were a kid, just in a room by himself.
Well, they weren't even calling them podcasts. This is like prior to the iPod being the reason why we named them podcasts. So
Yeah, back
He's
then
old.
it was called Whoever Was an Earshot Cast.
yeah, yeah, he's old school. So wait, so Gary, you helped us on the tour show. You do Starcast. What else? Tell us about you too.
Yeah, so the big one is Starcast, the StarCraft podcast. It's been going since the Wings of Liberty beta. We're kind of, I guess, famous or infamously, however you look at it, known as being the Everyman's StarCraft podcast. There's so many StarCraft shows out there that are all about the pros and also about typing on your keyboard very loudly while you're recording a podcast. So we try not to do that and also be very, very like let anyone and everyone. We believe that everyone should be able to enjoy StarCraft and that it shouldn't be necessarily elitist.
I like that because my APM is somewhere between 2 and 10, and that's because it takes me a long time to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing at any given moment in a StarCraft game.
Well, if you really want, you can box your workers really fast in the first 3 minutes and get up to 200 APM, but it does literally nothing to help you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, even if I knew what that was, I wouldn't know how to do it. So I'm terrible at StarCraft. Let's just put it that way.
but
This
other
is
than
why Hearthstone's so perfect for me, by the way. I don't have to like react quickly.
yes,
I got 2 minutes to figure out what I'm about to do.
I have a joke on that subject in one of our news stories this week that we're going to be talking about. But as opposed to StarCast, I also did This Week in Blizz, which very recently ended. It was a weekly show covering World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and any other Blizzard news that was happening. And then just towards the end of its life, it became hard to force ourselves to find something from each topic every week. Because honestly, I don't care if the barbarian is moving 0.127% faster. So that morphed into A-Move Radio, which is my website, amove.tv, which is where you may have found the Angry Chicken. A-Move Radio is where me, Kyle, and Ben, who all help run the A-Move site, get together and really just kind of shoot the shit, as it were. I guess I think it's okay to say shit on this show. Have we decided?
Sure.
All right.
Shit,
Is
yeah.
now.
We just shoot the shit about games and movies and whatever happens to float our boat that week. There's still a lot of Blizzard talk on that show. As a matter of fact, if you're
Well, Blizzard's been known to float some boats, so
exactly,
yeah.
indeed, especially to Northrend. So there is that. That's what I do. So welcome to the show. This is your cast from here on into the future of the angriest of chickens.
For all of eternity, right? You guys
Yes.
signed a blood contract, correct? Or was I the only one?
Are you signing with your blood or a chicken's blood? Because
Yeah, I was told my blood, but maybe I was the only one. Damn it!
I did turkey yesterday. Is that okay?
All right, I'll give you that.
I did corn syrup and some red food dye.
Cheater.
Old school horror movie enthusiast, not a cheater. We're good. So, anyways, if you're tuning in, if you've been reading our Twitter, you're probably foaming at the mouth because you're like, hey, I heard you guys are giving away a beta key on your first episode.
Oh yeah, that's why everyone's here, by the way.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. all the live viewers, it's the only reason they're tuning in. Unfortunately for you, we also wanted to give the podcast listeners a chance, and our chat room isn't working, so we can't have a whole lot of interaction with you anyway.
True. Yes.
Twitch is really kind of being a pain tonight on our inaugural episode, but I don't know. Hey, even the Titanic didn't make it on its first try.
Yeah, this
Did
is
you just
comparable.
compare
I
us
think.
to the Titanic? Because
So anyway, we are going to be giving away a beta key, and this is what you need to do to be entered for a chance to win said beta key. We want you to tweet with the hashtag #AngryChicken. Whatever you want. Points for being creative, extra points for being funny, triple extra points for making it relevant to Hearthstone. So, but if you use hashtag #AngryChicken, we're going to select a winner between now and next week, and it'll be announced on next week's show who won the beta key. So, there is that. So, Jocelyn, thank you very much, by the way, for donating the beta key.
oh, you're very welcome. I'm just glad that I have it to give away. I was actually really fortunate when the beta was first announced that I was given a key by a friend right away. So I just want to give back.
All right. Yeah, I was when you messaged me, you were just like, "Hey, I've got an extra key. I think we can give away." I was just like, "Yes, that's an awesome thing to think. What a great way to start the first episode." So very cool. So again, hashtag #AngryChicken. Put those out. We're gonna collect them all and pick a winner for next week. So good luck to everyone. I know there are some people frothing at the mouth like a warrior card named the Berserker.
Frothing berserkers, yes.
Yeah,
Tons
exactly.
of you out there. By the way, Blizzard is starting to give away a lot more keys daily. So
Indeed.
even if you don't get one from us, have no fear. Blizzard keys are coming. I've heard somewhere in the range of like 30,000 a day may be going out soon. So
Wow.
Check your spam.
Yeah, my girlfriend's gotten one. Ben from A Move Radio got one. So it's definitely going around.
yeah, they're coming.
Yep, like an awesome flu.
But hopefully we can get somebody one sooner than they would have gotten one regardless.
Yes.
So
Right. Indeed. So anyways, now that all that business, the introduction, the contest is all out of the way, hopefully not everyone stopped listening as soon as they learned how they could win a beta key.
yeah, they're like, wait, not live? I'm out of here.
Let's get
Totally
to
should have done it at the end.
yeah.
I'm going back to Crypt Stream. Screw this. That's probably what happened.
Let's get to the meat of the show. Let's talk about the news this week in Hearthstone and a little bit from the week before, but it was just too big of a story not to cover on our first episode. Let's begin with the wipe. Hearthstone's first big balance patch. Really the first real patch we've had since the beta started, at least of any meat. So this was 2 weeks back, and it's supposedly the only big wipe of everyone's account, as well as the first balance patch.
Not just supposedly. It's definite. I mean, that is the word. If they were to wipe at this point, they'd be
They'd
going
have a
back
lot of
on.
angry people.
Yeah, it would not be good because I know at least 3 or 4 streamers I've watched have spent $200 to $300 on cards. So
cards,
I don't
yeah.
think
True.
those guys want it wiped again.
True. Yeah. I mean, again, not like you wouldn't have it reimbursed, but yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
but you
getting back
reimburse it
in.
in gold, and then it's like, okay, now I got to go through and click on a bunch of it's not the same as just dropping $50 on 40 packs, you know.
right. Right, exactly. I was like trying to wrap my head around some type of analogy to the real world. I'm like, what if Wizards just decided wipe and some dude showed up at my door and was like, give me all your magic cards. Just give them to
Yeah,
me.
right.
Here's a box of new boosters. Give me those ones.
Yeah, give me those ones here. Earn some new ones with this gold.
But I have a whole set of of foil swamps. I can't just no.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the game being completely digital is like I was talking about this on the instance actually. Like say the Black Lotus card, right? It's too powerful, so they literally just said nobody can use it basically in all of the tournaments. And in Hearthstone, you can say, "Oh, that card's too powerful. Okay, let's knock this thing down by 1." And you don't actually have to just get rid of the card as far as tournaments go. So
yeah, or the card can literally just disappear entirely.
yeah, sure, yeah, just replace it with something else or whatever whatever you got to do to make the game balanced. And right now, after this patch, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like the game is incredibly balanced.
Yeah, I'm still I feel like scrambling to get back to a point where I feel like I'm consistently winning and I'm like comfortable and I know the strategies.
Sure,
but it definitely feels far more balanced.
Well, the strategy before, though, was just pick Rogue if you can in Arena. That was the strategy.
That is a very good point.
Because as soon as you did, and then the card selection was really simple, too. It was like, okay, unless you put a Defias, a Backstab, and a Shiv all up next to each other, then, But even then, it was like, okay, Defias every time. Every time that shows up, I pick it. And there was just this kind of hierarchy of Rogue cards that these 3 or 4 cards were so much above everything else in the game that it just made it really easy. And then once you started playing, I mean, I went 9 with decks where I made so many mistakes, and I was still really new to the game, and I just would win 9 because Rogue was so overpowered. So that's not happening anymore, and I'm really excited about that.
I feel like with the Rogue specifically, though, like say you are playing Arena, the card hierarchy is almost still the same. Maybe not.
It's close.
The Ringleader definitely has lost a lot of its luster, but I feel like the Rogue's removal is still some of the most well-costed removal in the game. By a landslide.
I would say Priest is more mana efficient now than Rogue is. The Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word Death, it costs you 3 mana or whatever to get rid of a 5+ attack guy. I mean, it's kind of nuts.
It is insane, but it has that caveat of like if you're using Pain, it has to be 3 or under, and if you're using Death, it has to be 5 or over. And I definitely have played games with my Priest where I'm sitting there with like a Shadow Word Death. Which is funny, actually, against a rogue. Rogues don't tend to play with big creatures.
True.
So I'm sitting there. I've already used up my 2 Shadow Word Pains, and I've got 2 Shadow Word Deaths that are just
dead cards.
Dead cards in my hand. So it's great. When you're in the situation where you need those cards, it's like the best feeling in the world.
Oh, dude, when you have a Shadow Word, Pain in your hand, and you also have like a really great 3-drop. You're fine. You're good to go. Early game is taken care of because whatever they play on turn 2, you kill it, and then on turn 3 you play, this whatever it is. You're great, and especially if you have like an Imp Master as a Priest, you can heal that thing back up and just churn out imps the rest of the game. But I think those cards are very powerful right now. Pain more than Death, but we're actually going to talk about this a little later, aren't we? We should save this.
Yeah,
I have some feelings about these cards. So.
in the strategy section, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go over this stuff.
Yeah, now there is a lot in this patch note, in these patch notes. So if for whatever reason you're not up to date on it already, make sure you head on over to the official Hearthstone site and read it in full because we're just going to talk about some highlights, some of the bigger changes. Now we already talked about Shadow Word Death quite a bit. That replaced the card Fade.
Yes.
Which honestly, I don't even remember what Fade did.
Fade gave everything taunt, and you drew a card.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
I feel like they did save my bacon a few times, but Shadow Word Death is so much better.
Yeah, but honestly, here's the thing. Fade giving everything taunt didn't really do anything in actuality. Like, if you think about it, unless you were losing and you were going to lose on that turn, all Fade did was save you another turn. I mean, it didn't go, didn't give your creatures more health or more attack. It literally just gave them taunt. And so, I was still maybe going to kill these creatures anyway. Now they just have taunt. So there was a couple times, though, where you could play it and then play a Knife Juggler or a Gadget Sand Auctioneer or some card you wanted to protect. In that case, it worked out well. But I don't know. Just to me, just giving stuff taunt for no good reason isn't really that great. So
I
get why it's gone.
I'm going to try not to make too many Magic the Gathering references, but what you just described is like what we call like the fog effect, the card fog in Magic, which prevents all combat damage that would be dealt this turn.
But that's just one turn, right?
Yeah, it's actually a lot of people get into this trap because all they think about is that one time that they used fog and it won them the game because they swung for fatal the next turn. Every other instance of that is you're just dying slower.
Yeah,
like and
pretty much.
Fade was the same way. If you're not delaying your own death so that you can swing for fatal the next turn, you're just dying slower.
Well, there's a lot of cards that actually kind of fall into this trap of it seems good when you look at it, just when you just look at the card, right? So let's say something like Bloodlust. Now, I'm not against Bloodlust, but I also think that Bloodlust doesn't usually win you a game you weren't going to win anyway. Every now and then it does, and I'm actually that's going to be one of my stories for this week. But most of the time, you were probably winning the game anyway if you bloodlusted and it just got you to kill one turn faster. Things like that. I mean, those things they're not game changers as much as they look like they are.
I still like Bloodlust because I feel like I still get into these strange games with shamans where they silence all of my totems but don't kill them.
Sure, they leave them on the board, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't kill this. I can't get rid of my own totem. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute. Now I can use it to swing for 3. So
yeah, I usually keep one of my shaman deck if for no other reason so I can at least use my silenced totems for removal.
Yeah. But it also does, it can get you back into a game if you're losing. So I don't know. Trump hates that card. There's a lot of talk in his chat about, well, everybody in his chat seems to think it's the best card. And he's like, no, it's not good. And then he loses to a shaman with Bloodlust. He's like, I swear it's not good.
Right. There's just, I mean, you see this in any competitive card game. There are times when a deck composition is so bad in its theory that it's actually good because there's just no way to meta it.
There's no actual answer for it because nobody thought of it.
There is zero synergy between these cards, but I have no answer for half of them.
Yeah.
So it's just it's weird stuff. Lightspawn getting a buff with the priest, staying on the priest. It got 1 more health, which since its effect is its attack is always equal to its health, that makes it a 4 mana for a 5/5 when it enters the battlefield, which just made me ecstatic. Because
it's a good card.
Yeah, I come from the world of Magic where it's like if something's power and toughness is greater than its mana cost, play it under all circumstances. You don't even think about it, you play that card.
Yeah. Jocelyn, did you play Magic? Were you a Magic player?
I played Magic a long, long time ago. Like I was probably about 12.
Okay.
So I haven't played a card game in a long, long time, but I really, really got into it way back in the day. So
yeah, that game's been around forever. So
yes,
there's any card game since then has learned from Magic. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Garrett. Like that's just like a rule of thumb. That's why the Chillwind Yeti is so good. That's why the Ogre is so good. You get a 6/7 for 6 mana. It's like you just add that one extra stat on, and suddenly the card is just so much more valuable.
In the arena format.
Yeah. Now the problem with Lightspawn though, and a lot of people, I don't think know it until they've done the science and seen it for themselves. But let's say you put a Direwolf Alpha next to it, it's not going to make it a 6/5. It is always equal to its health, its attack.
Right.
So you cannot buff it except for giving it more health. So Power Word Shield will buff it. You can heal it back up, and then it has more attack again. There's priests have ways to buff it. But
what is the 6-drop priest only card that gives when it enters the battlefield, it gives a friendly minion +3 health?
Oh, the Temple Enforcer.
Yeah.
Temple Enforcer it, make it an 8/8. Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. Divine Spirit or whatever. Is that the one that doubles its health?
Yes.
Double its health. I mean, there's a lot. I never run those cards, but
right. That's the kind of the deck I've been toying with, and I like it, but it is not consistent.
No.
Which is why I recently decided I think I'll try the Rogue again, which I had stayed away from because I remember when this patch came out, everyone was like, "Oh, the Rogues got nerfed too hard."
Well, they did get nerfed pretty hard, but
they were
they're
hero
still good though. They're still really good.
Yeah.
I keep getting head cracked till I just die. It's awful.
Really? See, but that thing is 3 mana now. So I mean, that's if you guys. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we did an Instance TV where I played Scott with my completely broken rogue deck. And I think, Garrett, I played against you with it once, right?
You did. You completely creamed the mage deck I had. I was like experimenting with it. And I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a friendly game. We'll swap up decks. Let me try the newest deck I
you killed
have."
me with your first deck, so
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
"All
that was
right,
my,
fine. I'll play this ridiculous thing."
You had to regain your honor.
Yeah, basically, with that deck, what would happen is I'd get to turn 5, and then the game was over because I'd put an engineer out on the board and conceal him, and then the next turn I could just cycle through my entire deck, and eviscerates and shivs and friggin' sinister strikes. Everything costs less than 2, so head crack as well. So I mean, I could just go through tons and tons of cards, and I'd be consistently drawing a new one every time. And yeah, I think I killed you on like turn 6 or 7 with that thing, and that was like that's a long game for that deck.
It was pretty absurd. Yeah.
So that has been taken away because head crack costs 3, conceal costs 1, shiv costs 2. They just upped the cost of all these spells. So
yeah, the one thing I do regret is that we never got together with Scott and had him like host you and I with a broken rogue deck versus broken rogue deck.
Oh my
Because
god,
that could have been, I think, a really interesting Frog Pants TV.
it'd basically be like, who's gonna kill the other guy first? Who's gonna get that combination of cards first? And that's once you start doing it, it's over.
Yeah,
That would have been pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Because back then, and I still kind of have this issue. I am in love with spell damage, which used to be spell power. So even in my rogue deck, I'd have like $1 or $2 on mages, just because it's like, well, now my shiv does 2, and now my eviscerate does 5.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been interesting because I know my rogue deck was a little different from yours. Yours was like aggro plus 11.
Yeah, I had no spell power. I didn't care about that stuff. All I cared about was like literally I was just get to those 2 cards. Like I would at the beginning of my turn, whether I go first or second, I'd sack everything except an auctioneer and conceal. If I had one of those 2 cards in my hand, I would keep it and I'd be like, I'll just use my dagger to remove stuff until turn 5, it's fine. And then once I get there, that's it. So my only problem with that deck is if I didn't get those 2 cards in my hand, then I was screwed. But that wouldn't happen very often because I had engineers and stuff like that too. So I could cycle through cards pretty good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So I think we've already covered the rogue nerfs enough just in our discussion just then.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess what I'd like to pose a question to both of you, and what do you think was the biggest nerf to the rogue? Because I think it was the hero power nerf, which I don't think we've touched on.
Yes, that was it. That was a ridiculously large nerf. I think it was warranted. Like, here's the problem with the hero powers is it's really difficult to completely balance these things. But basically, so the rogue has to take some damage when it uses its dagger to remove stuff, right? It cannot remove things with 2 damage or 2 toughness ever because it can't buff that dagger. But it does get 2 uses for 2 mana. So in that respect, that's kind of what evens it out with, say, the mage hero power, which is 1 damage. You don't take any damage as a mage, but you have to use 2 mana every single time. For a rogue, they can bust it out, and they have 2 uses for that 2 mana. So on the next turn, they don't have to do it again to get 1 more damage. So it helps them play more cards.
Yeah, I feel like every time I pick rogue and I hit find match and I go up against a paladin, I do a little fist bump.
Yeah. It's like, your hero power totally killed by my hero power.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Jocelyn, what hero power are you digging the most right now?
I've been playing the hunter, so I absolutely love my shot. It's amazing. Except again, when I go up against priest and I'm like, shoot, and then he's like, heal, and I'm like, shoot, and he's like, heal, and I'm like, well,
or
this
warrior.
is stupid.
Yeah,
or warrior, yeah.
Yeah, they just armor up every time you shoot them.
Yeah.
But
which I end up having to shoot him because otherwise the druid as well, with the whole buffing and stacking of the armor, you kind of have to get rid of that right away. So
yeah. Well, the thing is that the hunter hero power synergizes well with the hunter decks because basically hunters are all about aggro. It's like I just try to kill you as fast as I possibly can. Hunter control decks are really, really tough to play, so I don't really recommend people do that so much. It's more about just like get a bunch of beasts on the board, draw a bunch of cards, remove everything the other guy does, and just go straight for the face over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it works well. I mean, I've lost on like turn 5 to hunters plenty of times because they get a ton of those little weenie beasts out there, and then they release the hounds, and it's all right. All right.
I love
That's
that.
pretty much my entire strategy. All the weenie beasts.
I absolutely love that deck when it works, but again, on the subject of consistency, I feel like I've had so many games where it's just like, well, I didn't get any of my tracking, any of my card draws, and I have like 2 1-drop beasts. I guess I'm just not winning this game.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just full of wolves right now, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I think I've played 12 or 13 games in play mode now with that deck, and I don't lose. I try anything else, any other deck, any other hero, and I'm just losing all over the place. And then I just go back to my hunter, and I'm like, oh, my happy place.
You know, I also really like the hunter deck where you just stack the secrets. Have you played this thing? It's not. I wouldn't say it's as consistent as that deck, but it's really fun because you just annoy the hell out of your opponent because you're constantly throwing a secret out there and he doesn't know what the hell it is. Almost every secret you have in a hunter deck is actually fairly effective, especially like Snake Trap plus Buzzard. Explosive Trap is just
Explosive Trap scares
fantastic.
the hell out of me. Like the
Yeah.
threat of Explosive Trap.
Yeah.
Never in my mind, by the way, do I ever account for the fact that either A, the person I'm playing against could be bad, or B, could actually not have every single good card
Yeah.
for the deck. I'm always sitting there just sweating bullets like, I know it's an Explosive Trap because it's the thing that screws me the hardest right now.
But you know, the Freezing Trap, though, a lot of people don't play it, and I've
That's
seen
the
that
one
thing.
I have all the time.
I've seen that thing save people so much because not only does it sends that minion back into your deck. It costs 2 more mana. It basically destroys, like you can't use that card anymore. And if you do, you get no value out of it now. So it's like losing a whole turn, basically, if you get that thing to work right.
And there are some really scary buff-based decks with the Priest and the Druid, I feel, that any card that'll bounce a minion, meaning you turn it to your hand and it loses any of its buffs, like it's just killer.
Yeah.
Especially if they have more than 1 buff on that creature, you've just 2, 3 for 1 to
Yeah, absolutely.
Some
By the way,
priests-
people are saying chat might be working now if you refresh the
Really?
feed.
I'm going to refresh.
So I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. And we also have, oh, hey, look at that. We also have somebody, Eleanor, Undead Goat, says, do you know if attack debuffs work on Lightspawn, like Humility or Aldor Peacekeeper? And no, they do not. It's right there in the text that it is always equal to its health. So you can't do anything about that. That is how that card works.
Yeah. Luckily, though, the Priest is all about buffing health. So
Yeah.
That's why that card kind of actually.
But
synergizes
you know,
pretty
like a paladin trying to knock your health or your attack down, it's just not going to work against the Lightspawn. So don't try it.
yeah, it's a bonus and it's awesome and it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the other class that got probably the most changes was the Warrior.
Well, I'd say Druid as well. I think Druid got hit kind of hard too, but I think definitely Paladin was the one that was changed the least. Warrior and Priest were buffed the most, and Rogue was nerfed the most. So these are the ones to talk about.
Yeah. Quick celebration! Hooray! Chat's working.
Hooray!
So yeah, I feel like I'm still losing to Druids pretty hard, and I have myself no idea how to play them properly.
Yeah.
I had a bad experience the other day where I got into an arena and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm losing to Druids a lot. I'm going to try Druid, even though I haven't really play tested this class that much. And
How
that was
hard could it be?
That was a bad
Sure.
idea because all I did was build my deck around what I hate losing to, and then it
Yeah.
didn't synergize, and I had the worst losing streak in the history of my arena play.
It's funny because I actually I would say I played Druid the least for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. But according to my spreadsheet, I have a 72% win rate with a Druid. So that's what I should be playing with.
How many games
Nice.
have you logged on the Druid?
Well, I have a 9-1, a 7-3, a 6-3, a 2-3. So that screwed me. But yeah,
That is
so I mean, I guess
literally
it's
my best result so far in the arena is 2-3.
no, come on now. We gotta do some like group arenas where we all pick together.
That
'Cause
could
I
be
think-
really fun, yeah.
I think that really helps. Like to just be able to talk over selections and stuff like that is it's huge.
Yeah, I actually did my first proper Magic the Gathering draft
Ooh.
2 weeks back, and it was online, so I got into the same table with all of my friends. We were sitting on Skype, so we were kind of gaming the system. Like, hey, there's this really good rare that didn't get picked going around. You should get it next.
But see, I kind of hope that they add that type of draft into Hearthstone. I think that'd be so fun.
I would too, because Arena is really more akin to. Again, just trying not to talk too much Magic, but it's kind of hard to avoid. It's
like
really,
the foil thing or whatever,
it's
right?
more like sealed. It's more like
sealed,
a sealed environment than it is draft, because draft, you're making picks and it's influenced by other players.
Yeah. Like if you could actually log in and say, okay, let's do a draft. There's 8 players who are all signed in for this draft. I see their usernames or whatever. And then we get a draft order, and then cards just like all pop out, and we know what they all are. And then we just start drafting. Like that would be so much fun. But
yeah. That's actually why I was really stoked about our mix of hosts on the show, because for me, the constructed play is by far my favorite thing in Hearthstone right now. And I know, Dills, for you, you're like all Arena all the time.
Yeah, I've been playing some constructed play recently, just because I finally do have some cards. So I figured I might as well try putting some decks together. But I'm building my collection very slowly, because it's literally just through Arena. I'm not purchasing any packs or anything.
Yeah, and then Jocelyn, I mean, I'm not trying to like label us, but like you're very much like the casual player, right?
I am. I didn't play too much right before the whole wipe. I just played enough to kind of get a hang of the heroes and kind of figure out what I wanted to do, and then really got back into it after the wipe, because I was like, okay, now is when it counts. Now is when I'm going to get all my cards. So I've only got, I think my mage is up at like 14 or 15 probably, and my hunter I think is 17. But I mean, some of the other ones are still level 1. Like, I'm not even playing with them. So I'm just kind of trying everything out and doing play more than Arena, because like, I mean, I listen to you talk, Dills, and it's incredible. It's like, you know, every freaking card in the game. And I just like, I get into Arena and I'm like, okay, that one?
Yeah, but that's Arena. That's what Arena has done for me, because I have none of these cards. Like, I don't have the ability to chuck them into a constructed deck, but I've played with all of them, you know, X amount of times, because when you play enough Arena, you're going to see all these cards. And
how do you get enough gold? Are you buying gold to enter Arena, or are you?
No, before the wipe, I actually did purchase. I purchased the 20 packs or whatever it was, or 15 packs, I think. So that was $20, and then I played Arena for a while, and I probably spent maybe another. I bought Arena entries like maybe 10 times or something over the next bit of time. Because every time I would, lose or whatever, and I would not be at enough gold, I'd just play 199. And then all that money came back in gold. So I have like 4,000 gold or something.
Oh my God.
So yeah, if you can play well enough, and I've overall, since I've started back after the patch or after the wipe and everything, I'm down about 2,000 gold total. So I'm down to like 3,700 right now is what I'm down to. But I've opened 41 packs in that time.
Wow.
So I'm spending 72.24 per pack rather than 100 per pack. So it's a
I
better
love
deal.
The spreadsheet. I can see him reading.
I really want to have a day, Dills, where you and I just hang out on Skype and you explain to me all of the different ways that you track your game, because I want to start doing this.
Well, I'm actually okay. If you start now, I've got the perfect tool for you coming up later in the show. So
awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
we're gonna pass this out to everybody, because it's. I found this today, and oh my God, I wish I had it when I started tracking, because I've been creating the damn spreadsheet myself. And
like a sucker.
Yeah, like a sucker. And I have all these things. I've so much filled out, but I don't have some of the stuff that this guy put together. And it's all super easy. All you have to do is enter the information, and it makes the spreadsheet for you. So, yeah, anyway. I had to figure out how to like do, very specific formulas and stuff that I'd never done before. And yeah, it took me a long time. I spent a lot of time.
I really should have paid attention to that one advanced math class back in high school. It really would have helped my Hearthstone data aggregate right now.
Yeah, I've got some. I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day, and he's like, "Dude, that's too intense." He's like, "I don't care. I just want to know how many times I won and lost." But I want to know what class I'm good at and what class I suck at. Which I suck at Paladin, and I'm good at Druid. So I know that.
I suck at Druid, and I also suck at Paladin. I'm not good with either of them. Rogue and Shaman are kind of my jam right now. But anyway, I guess moving forward in the news so we can get to what you were talking about.
Yes.
Blizzard announced that they're having a Hearthstone, I'm calling it a show tournament at BlizzCon.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like this isn't the WCS of Hearthstone, so don't
Don't get all excited, guys.
manage your expectations.
Yeah. Well, there's some good players here. I mean, this isn't there isn't enough of a history, as you know, if you were to know who the very top players in Hearthstone are right now. But
we also have no offense to Husky, I love him to death. He was my introduction into shoutcasted StarCraft. But we have Trump versus Husky.
Yeah. So Trump is really good, and he's he's got a Magic the Gathering background as well. He played a lot of StarCraft also, but his issue in StarCraft was his his mechanics weren't as good as some of the other top players, but he was still able to be like a grandmaster player with just knowing the strategy so well. So a game like Hearthstone just really lends itself to his skill set, and he's got it all figured out. I mean, he's already valued the cards and what he thinks is worth more than another. He also plays a lot of Arena, and he's just a really good player all around, and he's already won some Hearthstone tournaments. So I think I got to put the money on Trump right now.
Yeah, I just feel like putting Husky up against Trump would be like putting me up against Dwayne Johnson in a wrestling match.
Well,
it just wouldn't go well.
The thing about Hearthstone is there is enough luck that anything could happen. I mean, Trump could get terrible card draw, and Husky could get that perfect opening hand, and then every card he draws from then on out could be amazing. And you never know what's going to happen. I will say though that I've watched Husky play some, and I don't think he's taken this game as seriously as some of these other players. So I'm not going to say Husky's not like a good player when it comes to something he's really into. It's just I don't think he's as into this game.
He's going to be very entertaining.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hope they mic him.
Same with Artosis, who's actually talked a lot about the game, but I don't think has played much of the game. So I think those two guys are going to have a tough time in this tournament. But
yeah, Day 9 too. Who I guess I have a little more faith in Day 9 because I watch a lot of his Magic the Gathering content. It's funny. I started watching him as a StarCraft guy, and now I almost never watch any of his StarCraft stuff. But anytime he puts out a Magic piece, I watch it the day it comes out.
Yeah.
But I feel like him, Day 9 and Artosis, like I'm curious to see how they're going to do because these are guys who have full-time jobs working their Artosis is a very, very famous caster within StarCraft and other esports, and Day 9 has this small little empire, so I'm curious how they're going to do.
Well, I think that they're very smart when it comes to games as well. I've watched Day 9 for sure, and he's got a lot of know-how in just about any game. I mean, he understands mechanics and things like that. So I think he'll be fine. But I do think right now Trump and Crip are the only guys sitting there playing for 12 hours a day. And Crip just spent like $300 on cards and has every single legendary. And all he's doing right now is practicing Constructed. Whereas Trump went right back to Arena immediately. Like he opened some decks and he tried some stuff out and he was like, yeah, all right. And he went right back to Arena. But I also think Trump might have some secrets. So here's my prediction. I predicted on the instance as well. We're going to get Crip versus Trump in the finals, and Trump's actually going to win because Trump has Crip's number. And they're both incredibly good, but Trump he's played Crip enough. Crip's played Trump enough too, but Trump has him figured out, I think. So he knows how he plays.
Going to metagame this stuff like Pro StarCraft.
Yeah, exactly. The matchups,
I've seen your replays,
matchups matter a lot. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Hafu, I've watched recently. She's gotten a ton better. So Crip better not take that first match lightly, because she's definitely knowing her stuff now. So
yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun, though. I will be there. Will you guys be there?
Yes, I am attending BlizzCon. I'm very stoked. This will also be my first time, I think, going to the guild hall that you guys put on every year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Jocelyn, you going to be there?
Virtually.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Well, it's Nerdtacular or BlizzCon, and Nerdtacular just wins. So,
but there's like a mini Nerdtacular at BlizzCon.
That's
well,
true.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, or you can just do what I do and just go to both. I mean,
Well,
come
I'm
on.
aiming for BlizzCon next year.
Okay, all right.
But this year virtually.
I promise
And
myself.
vicariously through you guys, because I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll keep me up to date.
Maybe we'll call you in via Skype in the guild hall or something. And
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
do that.
We'll just
for sure.
we'll just hijack the mic dills and do like an impromptu live Angry Chicken.
Well,
Yes.
I think we're planning on doing a live instance, so I'm sure we could just say keep everything set up and let's do a live Angry Chicken right afterwards. I mean,
Yeah, I was also
there's gonna be Hearthstone news,
Yeah.
right? There has to be.
Yeah, I was talking to Scott too about possibly doing a live Starcast. So
Oh, cool.
hopefully we'll
There you go.
be able to knock them all out. Be fun stuff. I'll have to budget time to actually see the convention.
Yeah, exactly. That's my toughest thing when
Yeah.
it comes to BlizzCon is actually going in and doing the stuff that's there because I'm just hanging out with all the AIE people the whole time.
We
so.
always make fun on Starcast because people give Kyle and I crap because we go and watch a lot of the panels as opposed to watching every single live pro game of StarCraft. It's like-
Yeah.
And so we were joking last week. I'm like, guys, I watch pro StarCraft almost every day.
Yeah.
I want to see the panels with the people who make the game I love to play.
Yeah. And this
that
is stuff
doesn't
you
happen
cannot
every
see. You
Yeah.
can't see that anywhere else. So, yeah. I
It's
think
like,
it's worth-
I won't miss the finals. You couldn't
Yeah.
pay me to miss the finals, and also it's usually the last thing that happens the night that the finals are on. But yeah, it's funny stuff. Anyway, speaking of Trump, he is now our officially the first Hearthstone pro player.
Yes. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
This game is not out yet.
No, it is not. Although, similar things happened with Dota 2 when it was in its
Yeah.
10-year-long beta. So Razer is now officially sponsoring Trump.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Razer stuff. In my experience, it hasn't been very good, but I haven't used it in a long time. So I can't say for sure, but I'm a huge fan of them supporting the gaming community so much. And it's definitely made me go, well, maybe this stuff is better now. I don't know. So I don't know if you guys have any experience using this stuff.
I have
but-
an Imperator that I just broke the other
Oh,
day
yeah?
after
Uh-oh.
3 years of and
Oh, well,
the-
3 years. Okay.
And the 0-3 losses to Druid and Arena may have had something to do with it. Just saying. First time I've ever broken a piece of computer hardware out of anger. But that thing was it served its purpose. It's over
Yeah.
a 3-year-old gaming
Okay, well, if
mouse.
it lasted 3 years, that's pretty good.
that thing downed Arthas. So
Okay. I'm gonna have to come around on this stuff then and try some new stuff out then because I was looking through some of their roster and stuff who they've got right now. I mean they've got Method and they've got friggin' whatchamacallit, the other guys who killed Garrosh already. Blood Legion. How do I not remember Blood Legion? Anyway,
Oh yeah, Razor's really, really involved. I immediately couldn't help but laugh at this because I was like, yeah, Hearthstone, when you need the most responsive mouse in the world.
yeah, but it doesn't really matter like the game. It just matters that the company is out there supporting the people who
Right,
are
right, exactly.
bringing people into these games, and I think that's great. So
Yeah.
and there's a lot of hate going on. Like, oh my God, this game's not even out yet. How is there a pro player? How do we even know Trump is the best when nobody can play the game and all this stuff? And to everybody who's like hating on this, like just be happy that people can get paid to play games.
Right,
'cause-
exactly. And it's just, I mean, he clearly has the numbers to be
Yeah.
worthy of them, slapping their logo on his shirt.
Absolutely, yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, the same thing happens in StarCraft. There are players that are on rosters that are not good, but they're wonderful spokesmen for the team.
Sure. And it doesn't matter if you are thinking that the game's not ready to have a pro player or not. It's what matters is that this relationship is going to work out for both of the parties involved. So I don't know. I don't understand why people want to hate on this type of thing. But I was looking at the Reddit when this got announced, and everyone's just like, "Oh my God, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard." It's like, guys, relax. Don't be jealous that somebody else is getting paid for doing something that you want to do. You know.
Maybe either of you can let me know. Has the Hearthstone Reddit gotten better? Because I just stopped reading a few weeks ago because it was seriously nothing but, why aren't I not in the beta yet? It's
Yeah,
stupid
where's
that
my
it's
beta
not an open
key?
beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
it's-
everyone sitting on this show obviously has a beta key, so
Yeah.
maybe we're being jerks.
yeah.
But
Well, the thing is that I definitely go check out the beta quite often, but the Hearthstone Reddit quite often. But I put something on there about how you can play Hearthstone on your iPad with Splashtop, and the top comment on it is, I think so. The title of my post was Hearthstone plus Splash Top equals Hearthstone on my iPad, and then the first comment or the top comment is no Hearthstone plus me equals no Hearthstone or whatever, something like that. And it's like, and that got upvoted like crazy, and then the whole thing got downvoted. And I'm like, it's just okay. You don't have one, but you're just gonna come to a Reddit just to downvote everybody who does have a key, or like I don't understand the thinking behind that. But all right,
Good job on that comment, by the way, Jocelyn.
Which comment? Oh, yeah. It was all me.
Just getting in there, hating on all of Dill's Reddit posts.
Trolling dills all over the interwebs.
I actually now I want to see this. Who posted this? I played him starts at about 33 and
that was
you,
me.
Jocelyn?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's me. So
I'm
this
watching
is
this
my
video.
claim to fame is that in my very first arena run, I was so excited. I finally got up the balls to just jump in there and try arena.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like making my deck, having no idea. I'm like, it's okay. This will be fun. You know, it's going to match me up against a worthy opponent. And then I get into my match and it's freaking Trump. And I'm just like, oh.
So did you look at have you watched this stream back? Was he like 0-0 as well? Were you guys both starting out arena runs?
I think he had played one other person before
Okay.
me because if you go to the link and watch the video, it starts about 33 minutes in is where he starts to play me. And I lasted a whole 9 minutes, guys.
All right.
But yeah, he trounced me pretty good.
I'm definitely gonna queue this up for later viewing.
Yeah,
I'd
and
be
I gotta
down.
check this out.
so I did watch it back. I watched I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but there's like, you can just see his face. He's kind of like, what? Like, what's happening right now? And then I played a secret like right away, and he's like trying to figure out what it is. And then finally it went off, and it was like eye for an eye. And he's like, adorable. And I was like, yeah. I had no shot. I know, but you know, I got to play him, and it was in front of like 2,000 something people. So that was pretty
cool.
exciting.
I hope you feel good about that, Jocelyn, because if I lasted 9 minutes against any of my favorite StarCraft pros, I would be just beside myself with joy.
I think most of it was me taking my like 2 minutes to think. Really, it's like 4 turns.
I have not been matched up against Trump yet. I played Crip, I've played Silas, I've played a bunch of the guys who I know are pretty good, but have not played Trump yet. I'm looking forward to that when it happens.
It's quite intimidating.
I definitely want to start playing against you more, Dills, especially when I start building new decks. Like, I feel like you're a good guy to test stuff against.
Oh yeah, I'm all for. Let's do some definite testing because in constructed I would just say I'm inexperienced. I don't have like a lot of I'm like, wait, I can't take 5 fireballs. This is bull. I want 5 fireballs, but
Well, the first slow week, I guess, in news we have for the show, maybe that's the week that we just force you to drop down the $40 and get a bunch of cards and see how your constructed week goes.
Well, I'll definitely say this. I've been tempted several times, especially after watching some of the other streamers open a bunch of packs, to just do that, just for that big, cathartic, just keep clicking pack after pack after pack and actually get like a legendary. But I've gotten one legendary out of the 40 packs I've opened so far.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I bought the 40 when I first got my beta, and that's the only real money I've spent on the game.
Yeah.
And
Which is why you don't have a lot of gold right now, right?
Right.
When you saying the other day, like, I don't have enough gold for another arena run.
Yeah.
And
Now-
so did you get all your gold after the wipe and then just go back and buy the packs again?
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
Well, like I said, I prefer constructed play.
Yeah.
I can usually get enough gold for 2 arena runs per day if I play every day.
Yeah. It's once you do your daily and a few play sessions, you have enough. So
Right. And I'm totally fine with that speed, but it's it's funny because I actually I bought my first box of magic boosters for the first time ever recently.
Oh, yeah?
And I realized to a lot of magic players it's like what you just opened 32 boosters of magic. Why'd you do that? Why didn't you just buy the card you wanted? It's like I just wanted it was a new set. I just wanted
I
to
just want to open the packs. Yeah.
It's
open a ton
fun.
of booster packs.
Yeah. This is what Blizzard has done really well on is these packs. These packs are super fun to open. The way you do it, the clicking, and like when you get the rare and the epic and the legendary, just it's it has that feeling of like, I just want to do it again right now. And so you just, for me, it's start a new arena run. But for some people, it's drop another $50,
Yeah. If only I had that kind of cash laying around.
Well, I'm hopeful that some of the streaming that I've been doing will at some point get me to the point where I can have subscribers and all that stuff, because I will spend any money on things like that. Like that to me, like that would be like the dream is just pay for packs by playing the game, not by dipping into my hard-earned cash.
Yeah, I think everyone's dream is for someone else to pay for their drug habit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's make this happen, people.
Yeah.
That's how Crip bought $300 worth of packs, by the way. I'm guarantee.
Oh man, I've been looking at I've had so much Twitch jealousy since it started with the Wings of Liberty streaming back in the day that it's like, I don't know.
It's getting out of hand. I mean, it's a really cool thing that people. I mean, there's not really another form of entertainment that I will sit and watch for like 6 hours on that work. And I can totally sit there and watch any of these streamers for 6 hours.
Well, Dills, you're really not supposed to be watching any entertainment while you're at work.
No, it's fine. It's fine for me to do. It's I'm multitasking is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And this
actually
type actually Hearthstone's perfect because I can not pay attention to it and then notice something here and there,
Yeah.
StarCraft is a little more intense. You really kind of have to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah. Although sometimes I just turn it on and put it on in the background and just listen to the casters kind of just tell me what's going on.
Yeah, casting StarCraft compared to casting Hearthstone, it's like radio basketball announcers to like radio baseball. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I feel like a lot
Such
of
a different
casters
pace.
I don't feel like I've found a caster who gets it with Hearthstone yet. I feel like a lot of people are coming over from StarCraft. They're trying to hype it up more than it is.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It should be more. It's a slow pace. You should really be like thinking about what the possible cards are that the other guy could have, what the possible plays this guy would make, what type of situation you would put himself in if he did. Because basically, you have time to go. Okay, this play versus this play. What are the merits of each? What would be the disadvantage of this one compared to this one? You don't have to hype it up and go, oh my God, he played a Twilight Drake. You guys, this is crazy.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
It'd be like taking a NFL shoutcasting and putting it in like golf.
Yeah,
You just don't. It doesn't fit.
it does not fit. You're right.
Yeah. Especially if it's John Madden.
So do you guys think that they're going to come out with some kind of like third person caster view when they bring out the actual game? Or do you think that that's still a while out?
I don't think it's going to happen right away, but I think it's on the plate. Blizzard's going to make this happen at some point, but I think it's not high priority yet because you can cast without it.
Yeah, true.
It's not a wonderful experience.
It's not the best, but
No.
but if you like Arena or whatever in WoW, right, has the spectator mode now, right? So you can actually do this stuff.
And
So I
StarCraft
think
has had it since day one.
yeah, exactly. But so if Blizzard really does feel like this has esport possibilities, then it will definitely end up in there.
They have to be thinking that. They have to.
Yeah, well, now that Trump's a pro player and all of the these tournaments are happening, I'm sure, and especially if there's a lot of interest generated at the BlizzCon event, I think a lot of people are going to go, okay, let's get this going right now. And the thing is, though, too, Hearthstone still has a small team, so certain things take priority.
Yeah.
Certain things take priority, like balancing the game correctly and new cards and things like that.
If there's a BlizzCon next year, I'm going to be really curious to see what the progression has been for Hearthstone, because I remember the first year that Wings of Liberty was out, that BlizzCon, it had only been out since that July, and that BlizzCon was in October, I believe. So it hadn't been out that long. And I remember going over to the StarCraft area, and there was a decent amount of people, but there was like no security, and everyone, like, there was a player pit where everyone was doing their offstage games. You could just walk up and just start talking to people.
Yeah,
It was not a big deal.
yeah.
The next year,
Crazy.
it was
right?
the largest live StarCraft crowd in the history of esports.
Wow.
Everyone was like behind velvet rope sections. You couldn't talk to anybody.
Wow. That's crazy.
So like, I feel like we're gonna have a similar thing this year. I feel like we're gonna go to BlizzCon. I feel like Hearthstone's gonna be lower key, it's gonna be popular, but it'll be very approachable.
Yeah.
I feel like the next year it's gonna be behind lock and key, like
Yeah.
StarCraft. I just
I
have
hope
this
so.
feeling.
I really hope so. And I hope that there's like legitimate ladders and stuff like that, and people really know who the top players are. And I really hope that that's the direction it ends up going in.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of BlizzCon, the final bit of news this week, Blizzard announced that they are giving away a mystery minion card that's actually of legendary quality in the digital swag from BlizzCon. So both us, Dills and I, attending in person, and you, Jocelyn, who are watching via the virtual ticket, will be getting all of this digital swag, which includes a unannounced legendary minion for Hearthstone.
Yes. But
It's got to be a Murloc. It has to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Murloc, but I feel like a lot of people are pissed about this because they think, oh, this is going to be some game-changing card that if I don't have, I'm screwed. I'll never be. Everyone's going to have this card in their deck, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be just a fun card with a cool emote, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really sad if I never play it, though.
Yeah, you'll play it. I played an Angry Chicken just because of this show, so we'll find a way.
I totally picked up an Angry Chicken in my arena run too because I can't not take it.
It's
then
the
it came up
day-
like 2 more times, and I was just like, no, I have one.
Yeah, I know. The other day it was in my first 2 picks, and I was like, "Damn it! How could I not pick it?" And I was like, "I won't pick it." And then the next 3 come up, and there's another Angry Chicken. I was like, "They want me to pick it, don't they?"
It's
But
like
I wasn't.
they heard about the show I haven't even recorded yet.
Yeah, but I wasn't playing a paladin, so it made no sense. So. Did not pick it. But yeah, so this I'm excited to have this card. I'm excited to see what the hell it is. But again, it's not going to be a game changer, so nobody needs to freak out if they do not have it.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on and talk some strategy this week. We wanted to do the first episode and kick it off with hero abilities.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think this makes the biggest difference in the game as far as what class you're playing. The class cards obviously are a huge deal, but to me, the difference between one hero ability to the other affects the style of gameplay you play with each class more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to think what my favorite is. I feel like the Shaman would be my favorite if I could choose what totem I got.
Well, okay, so what do you think is the best one? Like, not your favorite, just the most powerful.
For me, I think it's still the rogue.
Yeah, Jocelyn, what do you think?
I think probably the Druid.
Okay, I'm actually going mage. I think mage is the
Really?
strongest one. Yeah, just because it's 1 damage you throw out anywhere you want, and it never comes back to haunt you because you're not taking any damage while you do it.
That throwing out the damage anywhere you want is actually really helpful because
Yeah.
the ones where you can only target the other hero, sometimes I'm just like, oh man, I wish I had that 2 damage to throw at a minion because then I could just,
yeah.
So only being able to target the other hero is kind of sucks. So that's true about the mage, but I mean, it's only 1 damage.
Yeah, but 1 damage makes a lot of differences in a lot of situations. So it's like if you have a 4 attack guy and he's got a 5 toughness dude, you're not screwed. You can still trade. It costs you 2 extra mana to do so, but if you do that with a rogue, let's say you're trading, you have a 4 attack guy with 2 toughness. He's got a Yeti, which has 5 toughness, and so you can't kill it. You use the rogue, you take 4 damage, and you trade your minion at the same time.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's a much bigger trade than it is for a mage, where they just chuck it out there and they don't do anything to themselves. Mm-hmm. So in that respect, I do think. Now the rogues used to be by far because you could do 2 damage anywhere, but ultimately the biggest one ever is Shadow Priest. Once they've done it twice, once they go on 2 shadow forms, it's ridiculous.
There's a reason it's incredibly conditional.
Yeah, it's really hard to get to. Yeah.
It's oh man, I have yet to have that happen. I'm striving for that day when that happens because it's just the two targeted damage is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's like I have a couple questions. Do you think that hero abilities are a good idea or a bad idea? Because if you played, so Gary, you play a lot of Magic, right? There's not hero abilities. There's the Planeswalker kind of stuff, but there's not, something that you can always do every turn, no matter what.
I don't know. I'm trying to formulate my own opinion, and the problem is I've heard so many other opinions that I think I've doctored my opinion.
Okay, that's fine. You know, you take in
that's
information around you, and then you.
I think in a card game that is a card game is inherently you're at the mercy of RNG, and so to have something that you always have every turn, I think limits your options with what.
Well, it
you
makes
can
it
do
less
with that
about the
game.
cards, right? It makes it the cards are less of the entire story.
Right,
They're
right.
One
And-
piece of the puzzle.
Brian Kibler, who's a very successful pro Magic player and also one of the guys who helped design the original World of Warcraft game, wrote a really interesting article talking about what he likes about Hearthstone and what he doesn't like about Hearthstone. And one of the
He didn't like hero powers at all.
It was like his least favorite thing, and he made. I'm not sure I agree with it 100% because at the same point, I think there is something that can be said for like at least one non-random element of a competitive card game, and I think an argument can be made. But I do agree with him that I think it's odd that there's, 3 classes whose heroes' powers pretty much negate 1 health minions?
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's what would you really give a mage? You know what I mean? It's kind of tough. So, there's one. I actually really like them. I think that they really set the classes apart from each other, which is important in a game like this where you have all these classes. Obviously, it's gonna make a big balance issue going forward as you add new classes, because every time you add a hero power, it's got to match up to the other hero powers. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of screwing yourself. But I think it's really great that you have this thing that really separates you from the other classes. And the WoW TCG had a similar yet different thing, which was that you had one use of your hero power, so you really had to decide when it was the most valuable to use it. And that kind of thing might work better, maybe, but right now I'm not mad at hero powers. I think that they're pretty interesting, and I think that they add a lot of, it's just it changes. So I'm playing a mage, I have to play differently because it's hero power.
Right.
And that is important, I think, when you're talking about matching up class to class.
Yeah, I do. And at the end of the day, what I don't want is Magic again with WoW flavor.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't make the same game twice.
Right.
For sure.
My biggest issue with the game is actually that I can't do anything on my opponent's turn. That's the thing that just drives me up a wall.
Yeah. So I have an idea for hero powers, and I want to hear what you guys think about this. What if you could play your standard hero power, or you could use 5 mana and do like a superhero power, which basically doubled the effectiveness of your hero power. So the mage would be able to do 2 damage wherever he wanted. A hunter maybe could take his damage and move it wherever he wanted. Like some sort of version of their hero power that allows them to kind of add a little extra to what each class can do. And also towards the end of the game, late game stuff, when people are playing some cards sometimes and have a ton of extra mana, then the hero power would still be more of an effect in those types of scenarios. So like say the shaman would be able to decide what totem comes out. Just some sort of little tweak to it, but it costs more than twice the mana to cast it. What do you guys think about something like that?
Justin,
I think
I'll
that
let
would
you
be.
go first.
I was going to say, I think that would be great because I find, especially in the late game, when I make it past turn 7, which doesn't happen very often, but when I do make it past turn 7, I find that I only have, 1 or 2 cards to play, and I tend to stack my decks closer to the, 2 to 3 mana cards as opposed to the bigger cards, because again, I never make it that far. But I think having something to almost like dump my mana into would be really, really helpful because again, like especially later on in the game, some of the hero powers just aren't as effective.
Yeah.
So I think
absolutely.
having something super would be awesome.
Like if you could with your hunter power say I'm going to use it to attack a minion, it's going to cost me 5 mana to do it, but I can use it on something else. I just think that'd be kind of cool. Like
it would
you'd
make
have
the
to
difference
figure
in
out,
a lot of games.
Yeah, you'd have to obviously figure out how to balance this correctly, but I think the fact that it would cost 5 instead of just 4 or something like that, it wouldn't come up as often. You wouldn't see it constantly,
Yeah, that's actually why why you're not hearing me go, "What? That's preposterous."
Yeah.
I like your idea of it. I'm okay with that idea as long as it is not well costed.
Yeah,
As long as
it
you're
can't-
paying way more mana than you probably
Exactly.
would want to.
You pay more than twice the amount of mana to get basically twice the effectiveness, if you think about it.
Right.
It's
And,
like a Hail Mary.
and
Yeah.
also, my hero better get spiky golden hair when I click that button.
All right.
Or a
There
cape.
you go.
Can
So
we
we
have
fixed
capes?
it. We've balanced it. in
Superhero
just
power?
what Garrett wants. Yeah.
Yeah. Turquoise eyes and an announcer that goes, last time on Hero Power.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got your guys' feedback on that. Blizzard, are you listening?
Get on it.
I
Hire
know they listen
Dills,
to the
but,
instance. We got to get them to listen to this thing too, and then
hire Dills, but don't
Copy all
because
the
we need
records.
him on the show.
Yes. Can't have dills.
Just send him a paycheck and let him stay on the show.
yeah.
So no, I actually don't hate that idea. It
It's
sounds-
I don't know how well it'd work, but it's just I don't know. I keep thinking about like certain scenarios where it's like I just don't have the mana to do anything right now, or I mean I do have the mana to do something, I just have nothing to do. So
yeah.
interesting.
That could be a really interesting feature to roll out with a new set.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially you think about that when they're gonna have Death Knights and Monks, they're gonna have to come up with 2 new hero powers. They're gonna have to balance all those. It's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Oh
so
man, I didn't even think about. You're pretty much running into the same issue you have with World of Warcraft.
yep. Yeah.
Hey,
Poor
yeah.
Blizzard people. I saw they're hiring a balancing manager. I don't know what you'd call it, engineer.
Balance design.
Somebody's basically their job is just to work on Hearthstone balance.
Gotcha. This is kind of like David Kim is the lead balance designer on
I was
StarCraft
going to say,
2.
yeah, there's a StarCraft guy that does that.
Yeah, it's an important job.
Yeah, he's like this herald of. He like comes down from the mountain with stone tablets. This is now law. SCVs will now deal this much damage. And then everyone goes, "This game is broken. I'm never gonna play it again."
Yep.
And
And
then
then
he
they play the next day.
Then they keep playing. Yep, exactly. I wanted to talk briefly. We got, I guess, quite a bit into this when talking about the wipe and the new patch, but very briefly, this little kind of mini meta strategy you're seeing with when you're playing against a priest now, because of Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word Death. So as we talked about earlier, Shadow Word Pain lets you destroy a minion with 3 or less attack, and Shadow Word Death lets you destroy a minion with an attack of 5 or more. So there is this beautiful, luscious, silky sweet spot. If you can keep your minions at 4 attack,
Yeah.
priests just sit there angrily because they have to blow their 8 mana mind control on something if they want to
Well,
get rid of it.
They also here's the problem though. You keep it at 4 attack, you can't kill anything, and they heal it up. So priests are just really annoying right now.
They are
In
quite
like all
obnoxious.
respects. They are
Yeah.
just tough to play against. Okay, I put my Yeti out. They're like, fine. I wait 2 turns, and then here comes a Templar, and you can't deal with it, And okay, let me put out my minion that deals with your Templar. Okay, mind control. It's like it's just really difficult right now to play priest because they basically have answers for everything. What they don't have an answer for really is early game. So you really have to get a big advantage going right away, or else you're screwed.
That's
So
I think that's again why I'm enjoying the rogue once again, even after the nerf. It's just
Yeah.
like rogues punish priests hard.
yeah, because priests don't have that. Priests are all about that late game and grabbing your big guys, and you just don't have big guys. Then you're good to go. I think warriors do pretty well against priests as well because a lot of your damage is actually done with weapons, and same thing with rogues as well. You're doing damage with weapons, not minions that they can deal with. So
Yeah.
I find
it's a lot tougher.
I've had a lot of luck with the hunter, only just purely because of numbers. It's like, you just get so many minions out there and they only have, the 2 Shadow Word Pains and the 2 Shadow Word Deaths. So, they can kill 4 minions. But if I have 6 or 8, as
Yeah.
I often do with all of my random summoning of beasts, then, it actually works out pretty good. It's difficult for them to deal with a large number.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. I don't know if you play the priest that's running the deck that has 2 deaths, 2 pains, 2 shadow madness, 2 cabal priests, Akonai priest that turns his hero power into damage, Templars, mind controls, like everything they do steals your guys, or 2 for 1s you. It's like it's insane. So
I definitely have not run up against that.
Okay.
But again, it comes down to the whole worthy opponent thing.
Yeah.
I am not coming up against decks like that because they're winning a lot of games, and I'm doing okay in play, but I'm definitely not up there.
Are you guys both playing mostly ranked, or are you doing unranked?
I'm doing mostly ranked.
Okay. Jocelyn, ranked?
Is that just play mode? How do you choose if you're ranked
well,
or
play
not?
mode, you can either be ranked or unranked, based on if you click a little thing in the upper right-hand corner. So,
Oh, okay.
are
then
you
probably
getting
unranked then, because I don't
Okay.
ever remember clicking anything.
Well, you start
didn't-
as ranked.
if you didn't
so
click
if
anything,
you
you're
didn't click,
ranked.
you're
Yeah.
ranked.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah. Are you seeing like higher and higher medals as you go along, like as you win, like bronze, silver, gold, all that stuff?
I think I'm still only at journeyman. I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Yeah, because basically, like now they reset everything, but as you go through, it's actually, and Garrett, I don't know if you've noticed this, it basically is like 1 win equals 1 star every single time.
I hit 3-star platinum and it slowed down.
Okay. Yeah, because it was just. I mean, I was at diamond in
but
like
yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
And it's just rifling through. Whereas before, it took me a really long time to get there. So
Yeah, but before it also didn't reset, and that's a whole conversation for another day because we don't actually know exactly
Yeah.
what's happening with that.
we
so
should
it's
talk
not-
about this next week when we
Yeah.
might know more about what's
exactly.
going on.
I don't want to get into the ladder discussion because at the moment I'm not happy with the ladder, but I also don't have all of
Yeah.
the information I feel that I should have to actually craft a proper opinion on the subject.
Yeah.
I promise next week I'll actually know where I fall and if I'm playing ranked or not.
Okay.
I've just been
We'll
like
figure
pushing
this
the
out.
buttons and throwing myself under the bus. So
You're just like, dude, I just clicked play and then I play.
yeah, and then I play. What's the big deal?
Jocelyn, I don't think you give yourself enough credit because you beat my constructed shaman deck this week with the basic shaman deck. I think you beat me with. And
Did I beat you with the shaman? I can't remember.
No, wait, no, sorry, it was the mage.
It might have been the
Because then you
yeah.
unlocked the shaman and then you played the. Okay.
Yes.
Jocelyn and I played a ton of games against each other this past week.
Nice.
Um,
I wish that you could get some sort of reward for just playing your friends. Like, I mean, I know that it would be, there could be some
People
like
could take
abuse
it-
of this, but I think if you just made it really small, so that wouldn't even be the way to go for someone trying to grind up something, then I would like to
Well, you
see
still-
something.
You still do get XP, right?
I don't think you get anything.
I think you do get XP now.
Maybe they've added XP, but you didn't used to.
Oh, wait, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, yes, you do get XP because Jocelyn
Okay.
and I were both leveling up as we were playing against
Right,
each other.
that's true. Yeah,
'Cause we played-
and you can also play your friends to unlock the heroes if you haven't done so yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
so XP will unlock modes or XP will unlock cards, and then you can still unlock like new heroes and stuff, right?
Yes,
So,
yeah, because she
okay.
unlocked
All
the
right.
shaman by
That's
beating
something.
my shaman.
That's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I would like to see like cosmetic rewards or something, some kind of cool little thing. Like maybe your guy glows or something if you play enough.
Yeah,
But
or even if it's like via, I don't know, I guess you could game it if it was time spent, but
that's the thing. I mean, I understand that they can't have somebody like run bots or whatever and
Yeah.
grind stuff up. But why does it even matter in this game if someone were to do that? Honestly, like if you make it so slow that it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't sell cards. You can't trade gold. All you can really do is say like, I've earned every card in the game, so you want to buy this account? That's literally the only thing you could do.
that's about it. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I also wish we could trade, but again, another topic for
Yeah.
another
There
day.
you go.
yeah, actually, we should talk about that for sure.
We've been trying so hard
think
not
we all
to
have
talk
some
about
thoughts.
everything I've ever wanted to talk about on the first
Yeah,
episode.
we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah.
there, you guys. Angry Chicken will live to talk
Indeed.
another day.
So Dills, something you are allowed to talk about right now: spreadsheets. Go nuts. Sir.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this I'm gonna pop this into the chat as well. So this is the Reddit subreddit post that I found this on. Now I've been doing my own spreadsheets for a while now, and basically I've got a fairly basic layout. I'm not doing a lot of artistic endeavors with this. I've got a graph that shows me, which class I'm playing with and what percentage my win rate is with each of those classes. That's where the art stops as far as mine is concerned. It's basically straight up data. And all I'm doing is looking at, and I do have actually now recently, because Hearthhead is so good, finally, they've got it all in there, and you could build decks and arena decks and everything. So I recommend everybody do that too. You keep track of like what exact deck you used for every arena run. But this guy figured out how to make the best friggin' spreadsheet that I've seen.
I'm looking at the screenshots right now because I don't currently have Excel installed on this. And
yeah, so check it. He's got screenshots and stuff. So basically the way it works is the front page not only has like Hearthstone artwork on it, but he basically has like an entry form where you put in, okay, match 1, I played a hunter, I won. Match 2, I played a rogue and I lost. Match 3, I played a druid and I won. Like you put in all that stuff, and then at the end you put in the rewards you got. So how much gold, how many packs you got, how much dust, how many cards if you got cards, and then you go ahead and submit it. And then it actually has other tabs where it tabulates all of your information. So your record against other classes, your record with classes, how much gold you're averaging per run, and all the work is done for you. So you don't have to do any of this. And I put in way too much work into my spreadsheet to have now then found this. But if this can save other people all that work that I did, then I guess it's all worth it. So
no deals changed, so we have uniform Excel sheets. Oh yeah, this looks wonderful. I think I know what I'm doing after the show tonight, guys.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm doing. I'm switching to this thing. The problem is I'm not going to have...
You're abandoning all your hard work.
I don't care. This is so much better.
Don't talk him out of it. Don't talk him out of it.
This is so much better that I'm just... Now, the one problem is I don't have like what class I played against information on my old spreadsheet. So I'm going to start back, entering some of this stuff and seeing what it does if I don't put that in. Because if it totally breaks it, then I'm just going to start from scratch. And I'll just keep this old spreadsheet so I know what I was before, And I'll just think of it as 2 separate eras in my arena play. But
you need like an executive assistant or something, someone to do all your data entry and keep track of all your spreadsheet things.
I just need to be focusing on playing the game. And I need someone else looking over my shoulder and going, what'd you do? You beat a rogue? Okay. Throw that in.
How much time does it actually take you in between matches to figure out, like, to enter everything in the spreadsheet? Like,
it takes as much time as it does to start a new match, really. I mean, it's you click find a new guy and then you just tab over and pop in your stuff. So not long. The longest part for me right now is logging the deck I used, and but I really want to do that because I want to go back and I want to be able to see, like, I want to take all my 9-win arenas later on and go, what was the difference between this and like a 2-win arena, and actually have some sort of a logical way to look at that information and go, oh, I didn't have silence when I lost every game. That's why, stuff like that. I think that stuff is important to keep track of in a game like this. So,
yeah, that's just too awesome. I used to keep I wouldn't say it was a spreadsheet. It was more like a journal back when I was trying to improve my ladder in StarCraft. I'd just be like, I lost against this build, and I was off on this time. Make more rings at this minute mark. Kind of fell off that wagon pretty quick, though.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's definitely a large undertaking when you decide you're going to do this, and you're going to do it consistently. But if you can keep doing it and you can keep at it, the information you have at the end is really, really useful. And my piece of crap spreadsheet that I started with, I can look back on this thing and I can see relevant information. I mean, to know that it is worth it for me to be playing arenas over buying packs, that's good information to know. I'm actually winning enough to make that worth it. So
yeah, we already have people in the chat room saying that they'll be your personal assistant for a beta key. So
the beta key is the great equalizer. Everyone will do anything.
The second the game properly comes out, we don't care. Have fun.
No, whatever.
Log your own crap. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our own personal crazy game stories from the week. Jocelyn, why don't we start with you?
Well, I really think, first of all, I know Dills is going to tell his story, so that's half of my crazy game experience this week. Although it wasn't actually Dills, I'm pretty sure I was on the receiving end of it, which was so much fun. But as Garrett mentioned earlier, we played a whole bunch earlier on in the week as I was trying to level up my characters and getting used to the game and everything else. And I was playing a mage, and one of my favorite things is to use polymorph. And then Garrett was kicking my butt, so I was like, all right, that's it. I'm polymorphing. I can't even remember what card it was. And then he proceeded to beat me with a chicken.
A sheep.
Sheep. Sorry,
Yeah.
sheep.
Yeah.
I've got
The
chicken
sheep
on the
can
brain
become-
tonight.
The sheep can become an important part of your arsenal if you play it right.
Yeah.
Mostly, I know if I'm gonna get a killing blow anyway, I always make sure to get the killing blow with the sheep, just as
Of course.
just
Yeah.
a little bit of a jab. Like, well, that's what
Yeah.
you get for sheeping my big scary dude.
Yeah. Oh, I always do too. Always. If you can get the killing blow with the blood imp, I will do that every time. Like I will always the 1/1 always gets the killing blow if you can.
Death by sheep.
Yeah. I totally thought we were friends too, man. Totally thought we were friends.
Friends.
See, the thing is,
There
the
are
key
no
is
friends.
Don't
in-
polymorph friends.
every time you actually polymorph something, you're really spending 6 mana because I pretty much always polymorph and then ping it off the board. I often don't leave the sheep around because to me, it's like if I'm trying to clear the board, I'm going to clear the board. I'm going to full on clear this damn board. But that's also my style of play. So
Now that
I think
that-
of a polymorph as being a 6 mana spell almost.
That is a good point. And now that the frog from Hex is a beast, has anyone had any awesome wins by unleashing
Oh my
the
God.
hounds?
Hold on. I
As a
do
hunter.
actually have a cool frog story as a beast. I was playing a hunter and playing against a shaman. He frogged my dude. I panded him back into my hand, played a buzzard, and then played my frog.
That's awesome.
Got a card out of it. Yeah.
Thank you for the card, sir.
And guess what? It's 0 mana to play the frog. It's like
Yeah.
I could just ping it back into my hand and I have a free card anytime I want for 0 mana.
That's
So that was pretty epic.
incredibly situational, but so awesome.
Yeah, it's not going to happen very often.
The only
But
thing
That's
we
the
first
better.
of all-
crazy game story.
Oh man,
You have to have a hunter deck that has a panda in it, first of all, which that's not going to happen very
No.
often. But yeah, and then you also have to actually have the panda in your hand when the sheep or when the frog is on board. So
That's definitely that
very
time
situational.
when you got that bad pick of 3 cards in arena. You're like, I guess I'll take the panda. And
yeah,
you-
well,
you
I
had
like the panda though, so
Yeah.
I will go for the panda many times.
awesome. But what's your story from this week, Dills, that you came prepared with anyway?
So yeah, I've got a bunch, but this happened to me twice this week. Once on stream and once not. So if you go to my Twitch channel, I think I made a highlight of this actually happening. I think the title is "When One Bloodlust Is Not Enough," because basically, so I'm playing the shaman, and this is arena. I drafted 2 bloodlusts, and normally I would never draft more than 1, but for whatever reason, the second time I saw it, the other cards were just terrible or something. But basically, I'm on about 5 health. I think I have 3 minions on the board, and I think actually all of them. I think one might have been a 1/1, but they're basically all 0 attack totems. The other guy has like 15 health, and I have only 1 card in my hand, and it's a bloodlust. And I'm just like, damn it, I'm not going to be able to kill this guy. The bloodlust isn't enough. So I start planning out, okay, well, I'll still bloodlust, and then I'll clear his guys off because he has lethal on board. So it's my only choice is to clear his minions off. And then bang, top deck, second bloodlust, and I'm able to do like 18 damage to him or something and just kill him right away. So like he saw the bloodlust go off, and I'm sure he was like, "That's not enough, dude. What are you doing?" And then another bloodlust goes off, and he's like, "What?" So yeah, that was pretty exciting. 2 bloodlusts is not a good combo, though. Let me just make sure that I point this out. I don't think 2 bloodlusts is something you should rely on. It just happened to be in that scenario that it actually worked out for me.
A disclaimer of crazy game stories from the Angry Chicken crew. None of these stories are meant to actually inform you of how you should play the game.
Yeah, I'm not telling
is
you
not
draft 2
strategy
bloodlusts. Yeah. And Jocelyn's not telling you always save your sheep for the killing blow. Like, just sometimes
Although I
that's what
did kill someone with a sheep yesterday. Actually, it happened.
She
I
couldn't
did.
have.
Yeah.
She
Sheep
could not.
OP.
She could not have tweeted me fast enough.
Yeah. I'm still, yeah.
what you got, Garrett? You have a good one, I think, right?
Yeah, I had. As I said, I've been playing around with the priest deck a lot. It's funny. We need to talk off stream, Dales. I need some help getting my priest deck together because I've been seduced by all of their health buffs and like, well, you've got the light spawn and this clearly is a good synergy, but it's just not consistent.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was playing a game as the priest, and it was one of the cases where my priest buff deck, which I have named affectionately Buff All the Things, did what it was supposed to do. I had gotten to a really awesome board state where I had I don't know, 4 or 5 guys on the board, most of which had been buffed at this point, and just kind of hard to deal with. I'm just like, yes, this is in the bag. And next turn up for my opponent, he drops a Deathwing, and everything just disappears. And I just proceed to just start cussing the paint off the walls of my office. And then back to my turn, ping, pull the card. Mind control.
Of course.
And I just sit there looking at it because I'm literally in the middle of an F word, and I just, wait, what?
You're like,
really?
Hold on. What?
Oh my God. This did not just happen. And yeah, played it, and honestly, I don't think he could have left the game fast enough.
Yeah, he was like, oh, screw this. Well, the thing is, I mean, if you pull out a Deathwing, it's all or nothing.
Yep.
It is all or nothing. You lose all the cards in your hand as well as everything on the board is gone. I've played the Deathwing and then had it immediately polymorphed and was like, all right, I'm out. Like, that's if it gets dealt with, that's it. You're out. Like, you have no more.
All the sheep.
The only legendary I got before the wipe was Nosdormu. And I had a similar effect all the time. Like, I threw him in just because it was new. I was like, it's my only legendary. It's an 8/8. Why not?
Yeah. But it's weird 8/8, man.
Oh, man, it's strange. It actually has won me some games where I totally know I'm just throwing the other opponent off because it's like, I can't decide fast enough.
Very, very often when you throw Nosdormu out, the other guys figure out how to deal with an 8/8 as well as have 15 seconds to do it. And you go, well, I got an 8/8. It's pretty simple what I'm doing. I'm attacking your face, So, yeah.
Yep.
But I don't think that I will run Nosdormu in any. I think Ysera best legendary. What do you guys think?
Agree.
Best legendary?
Every time Ysera comes out, well, Ragnaros is.
Rag is pretty good because if
Rag
you
is
silence
so
it,
good.
he's just an 8/8 that can attack now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty beefy. He is pretty beefy.
Yeah. Ysera sucks if you silence her. So I'm gonna go with Ragnaros.
Yeah.
As
You
mine.
always get at least one dream card though. So
Right.
And sometimes the dream card you get when then they silence Ysera is you get the dream card that pulls Ysera back into your hand so you can play it again.
Yep.
So I still think it's the best one. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. So, well, let's take some emails before we end our first episode. The email, by the way, for the show, if you want to write into us, is tacpodcast@gmail.com. That's also our Twitter, just @tacpodcast. Our first email today comes from New Jack and wanted to ask the age-old question of, does the beta give an advantage? He said that he does personally think that the question is misguided, but and it won't be a concern a few weeks after release, but he does want to hear us discuss this. He also said, how awesome is King Crush? Rawr bitches. So thanks for that.
I think that's actually the emote when you put King Crush out. He goes, rawr bitches. And
did they get
exactly that? Yeah.
Did
Exactly
they get
that.
Aaron Paul to voice it?
I think that beta does give a slight advantage only in constructed mode, but if you plan on spending money on this game at all, you just spend that money right away. Buy your 40 packs, buy your 15 packs, whatever it is. And then if you find that you're losing, play unranked mode, which is generally going to have people who are testing weird stuff out or playing because they don't have a lot of cards either. And I think you'll be fine. I honestly think that the play to win stuff really doesn't matter until you get to the 3-star master stuff where everybody's got 4 legendaries in their deck and things like that. I don't think it's a big deal. I will say that I would like them to not have this closed beta with no more wipes phase last very long. I think it should only be like another couple weeks at most. I think they really need to open this game up.
Well, I think they're probably going to open it up at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Realistically, whether it's a full open beta or the actual release of the game one way or another, I don't think that people are going to be waiting much longer than that.
Do you guys think it boils down to they just don't have the infrastructure yet to open it up? Because
I've noticed
this is going to catch on
glitches.
Fire when...
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not
noticed
talking
so
about.
many.
I'm talking about just servers. Do you think they have enough servers to deal with how many people are going to
I
jump
think
into
that
this game?
they had to know, given that they're Blizzard, they know how popular WoW is, they know how popular the TCG was. I mean, they've got to know how popular a free game coming out of their studio would be.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have to.
I just mean that doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready yet.
I think that's right now. That's probably the thing that they're working on the most because the game itself is fairly seamless, minus a couple of bugs. There's a card return bug right now, and there's the dancing minions bug, which are still the only two somewhat game-breaking bugs that I've run into recently.
Right.
So I think their biggest thing right now is just server space and infrastructure. That's really all it comes down to at this point. But it's not like Blizzard is short on cash. I mean, they should be able to install enough server space pretty fast.
Well, and even then, I know like what Microsoft did with Halo was just they have like a cloud server that just automatically adjusts based on the demand for multiplayer. So, I mean, if they go with a cloud solution, then it doesn't even matter how many people are in at any given time. It will just automatically go with that. So I'm sure they've got to be, they're ready. Come on, guys.
I just assumed that there was literally a meeting one day where someone went, hey, do we have enough servers for Hearthstone yet? We bought them all. What do you mean you bought them all? There are no more to buy.
Servers in the world.
There are no more to buy. They cannot make them fast enough. We're gonna have to delay a few months. Oh crap.
Yeah, I this is definitely not going to be an ongoing issue. Is server space? Blizzard will handle that when they feel the time is right. And I think honestly, right now they got to feel like they're in a good spot. The buzz over this game is incredible. Sure, there's some people who are feeling a little butthurt by the fact that they don't have a key yet. And justifiably, they're upset that they want to play this game really badly and they can't. But that's just how Blizzard has done this particular beta, and I think they've got their reasons for doing that. And I think in the end, everyone's going to be happy, and everyone's going to be playing this game and enjoying it.
Yeah, I just feel like this is how Blizzard has done every beta ever, so I don't know why anyone's surprised.
Well, no, I mean their betas before that were closed betas were like you can't talk about it, you can't stream it. Like when I did the beta for Cataclysm, I wasn't supposed to stream me playing. Right. Me and Scott could barely talk about what we had been doing. Like we could kind of mention some stuff, but
but usually it opens up later. But the beta is you still need to get a key from somebody.
Yeah, but you definitely not everybody got a key. So the fact that not everybody has a key, that's not really the issue. It's just that they have all been watching everybody else play the game. So they're extra pissed that they don't have a key because I had to watch Trump play every single day while I didn't have a key. And that's a little hard for some people.
Yeah. Well, grow up.
There you go. Garrett's advice to you. Grow the hell up.
I'm just angry because I want to read the Hearthstone subreddit and you're all a bunch of whiners. So.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that is tough.
So there's that. Our second email today and final one comes to us from Sarna Kyle, who actually I remember this person has wrote in the Starcast quite a few times, and opens simply with, "I suck at Hearthstone."
All right.
Well, at least when I build my own decks. When using decks that have been built by the AI, I maintain a 60% win ratio in unranked matches. However, this is unsatisfying, and when running Arena, I get stomped. My question for you is, are there any guides you know of to help better understand balancing your deck and don't just give you pre-built decks? Any help would be much appreciated.
Yeah, actually. Let me see here. Trump and ECOP both made their list of card values for all of the basic cards, and it's pretty good. I think I will find the links and we can post them in the show notes.
Absolutely.
I'm not finding it on the very first search here, but I will say this: I definitely recommend watching somebody who you think is a good player stream this game, because especially guys like Trump.
Trump is great.
Yeah, he really talks through everything. Crip does the same type of thing a lot. He often talks through what he's doing. I was watching a guy play. He was like a Korean pro gamer. I can't remember what his name was. He was an American pro gamer living in Korea. I guess he was a StarCraft and a League of Legends player, and he'd been playing a ton. And he was also a really smart Magic player too. And he kind of had evaluated the cards. So he had a lot of stuff in there too. So there's a lot of these guys have actually taken time out of their schedules to put these lists together. So we'll put some. People are actually posting them right here in the chat for us. Thank you. Here's Trump's Arena card rankings, and you got to remember though that Arena and Constructed are two separate animals. So just because Trump thinks Spellbreaker is really good doesn't mean that it's always going to be good in every Constructed deck. So you have to be aware of what you're trying to do with your Constructed deck. The other advice I will give is go over to Hearthhead and look at other people's decks, because you can actually look at decks that people have built, and there's comments on them, and they'll give descriptions on why they're not good. So,
and I think people can actually vote them up and down on Hearthhead,
Yes.
can't you? Yeah, so you can
Yes.
see things that people are saying work or don't work, and I've actually found that really helpful.
yeah.
It's a good tool.
Yeah,
Hearthhead is so wonderful. I'm so happy
Yeah.
it's like up and running proper now.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really glad that the website that some of the Wowhead people and the Curse people have all decided it's important enough to make their Hearthstone versions really good. So good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that helps you. Sarnakyle.
Sarnakyle.
All right,
Sarna Kylie?
Sarnakyle.
I just wanted to get in on the pronunciation game.
And if you ever
Left
watch,
out, eh?
if you ever watch my stream, I try to do my best to explain what the hell I'm doing too. So if you log in on there, I'll and always I have a smaller group of people watching me, so you can ask a question and I will see it and answer it every single time.
I sit there and just talk punk rock with you, Dills.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Yeah.
fun stuff.
And I will talk punk rock with you anytime you want.
You have wonderful taste in music.
Thank you, sir.
Have you been streaming much at all, Garrett?
I started to when I first got the key, and just lately it's been insane for personal reasons. As you know, I have a wedding and BlizzCon happening at the beginning of next month / end of this month. So
It's a lot of stuff.
life is crazy. It's just like I'm just going to get this show off the ground and consider responsibilities finished.
Well, we did it, you guys.
Hell
we got
yeah.
it off the ground.
Episode
So good
one.
work, sir.
In the bag. As of recording this, we have still not been approved by Apple on iTunes. I don't know what's taking
Jerks.
them so long.
My God, those guys.
They approved my last show the same day I submitted. I don't know what's taking so long on this one. I guess it's just too awesome for them to wrap their head around.
Yeah,
They
they're
probably
like
don't
the
understand what
chicken.
angry chicken means, and they're just like, "Oh, this could
Is
go
this
a
a
whole lot of bad
euphemism?
ways."
Like-
Yeah, exactly.
Is this another fart app? It really,
We really should put out the Angry Chicken Fart app, though, don't you think? I mean, just logical.
Really class up the joint.
there's nothing worse than an angry fart coming from an angry chicken.
It's just the sound a chicken makes when it's angry and it farts. That's just
lovely.
you just push it and that's what happens. Over.
There you go. That sounds wonderful. And on that wonderful note, it's time to start the outro. The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and the Frog Pants Studios. You can see more about this and all of the other amove shows over at amove.tv. And make sure to check out all of the other fine shows over at frogpants.com as well. And you can email the show at tacpodcast@gmail.com. Ignore our overlay if you're watching live. I just realized I put TAC show because that's what we were going to put until we realized that the Twitter was taken by some guy. I don't
Some
know who
guy
he is.
took it.
Squatter.
So yeah, ignore
Yeah.
that. We'll fix it. Don't worry.
How dare he? So, yeah, if you're watching live or you're watching the VOD on Twitch or YouTube, just ignore that. We are going to be recording live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, or if you're on Dill's time, 7 p.m. Pacific, on amove.tv/live. If you want to go directly to the Twitch channel and subscribe so that you don't miss a recording, it's twitch.tv/amovetv. Make sure you follow the channel and it'll let you know whenever we're recording live. As we mentioned, you can follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. My personal Twitter is at Garrett Art. Dills is at Willie Dills, and Jocelyn is at GIS Gamer. For some of my personal work, please check out nomoonart.com. I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I'm always available for freelance, so check that site out. And as we said earlier, check out StarCast, the StarCraft podcast, if you want to know more about a different Blizzard game that actually requires mechanical keyboards. So there's that. Dills, where can everyone find you?
Of course, everybody can find me on The Instance, which records every Friday at 9 a.m. PST, Dill's time, as you so affectionately called it. And that is the World of Warcraft podcast, so that you don't have to. Another Blizzard production. We like Blizzard games, don't we?
The entire reason I started podcasting, or started listening to podcasts, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Very
first
cool.
podcast I ever listened to.
Very cool. You can also find me on TortureCast, which is a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. So a much smaller pool of people are going to enjoy that. But if you're a baseball fan, you might enjoy it regardless. If you're a Dodger fan, you're going to hate it. MGA Mediocast is the podcast I do about the Mediocre Golf Association, which I am a co-founder of. And we have the Mediocre Golf World Championships coming up at the end of this month in Las Vegas. If you don't know what the hell that is, go to mgatour.com and you can find out more.
I was explaining what MGA was to my girlfriend just before the show because she asked what else you did. And
Yeah.
she was laughing her ass off. She thought this was the coolest thing ever.
It's one of those things, either you're a golfer or somebody who kind of gets it, or you go, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like it's a very weird thing, but just understand it's the funnest thing I've ever been a part of.
I love people that embrace their less than professional skill of a given hobby.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to be good at golf to enjoy it. It's one of those things, and no one is. So thankfully, you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it.
Can we
There's
start the
very few Tiger Woods?
Can we start like the Mediocre Magic the Gathering Association? Or...
Oh, hell yeah. The Mediocre Hearthstone Association, we just like all cry because, we lose every single match we play. Yeah, we could do that.
I drafted all Bloodlust and I don't know why I lost. What's happening here?
Dude, my curve looked like a stairway coming down from the right. How come this didn't work? And you're like, oh, it should go the other way.
Wrong direction there, buddy.
Wrong
right
direction.
idea, wrong direction. And Jocelyn, where can people find you?
I do the Gamers In podcast, which is a general gaming and news podcast every Friday night on the A Move Network right here, and that is at 8:30 Eastern Time. So you can find me there. And actually, we're right in the middle of our big push for Extra Life. We are doing the 25-hour gaming marathon, and that comes up November 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, same date as Kyle's wedding. So I can't be a part of it, and I'm ticked. But
yeah.
Oh,
so
what?
But Dills is actually going to be joining us, and he's going to be kicking my ass at Hearthstone, and you can watch that as part of the marathon. I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
And
This is November. What is it?
November 2nd.
Okay, November 2nd. I will be there.
Dills,
You better.
Pro tip: kill her with the sheep.
Okay, always save my sheep for the kill shot. Got it.
Yeah,
Get her with the
thanks.
All right.
So, we're doing that. That's in support of the Children's Miracle Network. So if you want to go donate, you can go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2013.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Guys, thanks so much for helping get this show together for episode 1. And thanks to everyone who listened. We hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy. I haven't come up with a good catchphrase to end the show with like I have on StarCast. So until then, put this apple on your head